At dusk, we would see cranes like dancing, calling, and those images really stayed in my head. My name is Olivier Nsengimana, and I'm a wildlife veterinarian and conservationist. Great crown cranes, they're beautiful, tall birds. It's just when I became a vet, I realized those species were declining and we were losing it all. I work to protect species and to make sure they're there for generations and generations. We are trying to connect kids to nature, give them ownership. Just being part of a family like National Geographic Explorers, I want to be on a side where things are possible.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me at the Expo today. My name is Olivier Nsengimana, and I come from Rwanda, a country of 1,000 hills. I was born on one of those hills that you can see on this slide. Today, I would like to take you through a story of my childhood. Did you know you could die for killing a wild animal? This is what we were taught when we were little kids. You see, I was born in a village, in a community that had a very strong culture that protected everything that we valued. There could be like places, trees, and even wild animals. So when I was little, I found out that every single family had a totem animals. So this could vary from gray crowned crane, from frogs, from leopards, all the animals that were found in our surrounding, in our area. And you see, our ancestors had found a way to protect everything we had in our surroundings. So having these animals as totems was a good way to protect them, to respect them, and to love them. So we were told, if you kill a totem animal, you will die. So I want to tell you a small story when I was a little boy. So one day, when I was about 8, my friends and I were competing how to throw stones. So by accident, I threw a stone on this little bird, a wagtail. It's a totem from a family. My goodness, the bird fell down. And the immediate message that came in my head is, I'm going to die. I was so scared to dying, actually. I ran to an old man in the village and I asked him, hey, am I really going to die? And what he told me, he said, why did you throw a stone to that little bird? This was not the answer I was expecting. I wanted to know if I was really going to die. So, without an answer, I rushed back with my friends when they found this little bird lying down. And I want to tell you, that was the first time I practiced as a vet. I didn't know I would become a veterinarian in the future, but at the age of 8 years, I practiced as a vet. I took the little bird, I was giving it some air, trying to blow some air, massaging it, and luckily it flew away. You cannot imagine how much I was relieved. So I'm telling you this story to tell you, to show you how much it really was strong, how much we value these animals. So species like gray crowned cranes, they were really so much loved. They were totems, but not only totems. Most of our traditional dances were imitating cranes. These cranes, we use them to tell time for when they call in the very early morning. We love them, they were everywhere. But slowly, we've been losing the balance. With human population increase, some people got scattered. The stories were no longer told. The connection got lost slowly. Human needs increased. People started cutting the trees that they had protected for so many years. People started clearing, using those places they would have not used. And more importantly, like so many forests were cut, urban areas come, so many kids did not have a chance to connect with wildlife and really understand the value of protecting these animals. And we slowly changed. It came to a time when people found it okay to have species like great crowned cranes in their gardens, in their hotels. And this caused a huge decline. In 2014 only, we had less than 500 cranes in Rwanda. And at that time, there were so many more cranes in captivity than they were in the wild. So when I became aware, it shocked me. And that's when I really made a step to starting doing something. So our organization has been working over the last 6 years to reverse the decline in the gray crown cranes, but much more importantly, end the illegal trade in cranes in Rwanda. I want you all to watch this short video to show you what we've been doing.
In my country, especially, there is a domestic consumption. When they are there, they die of stress, malnutrition, and in addition, those cranes in captivity, they don't breed. Some of the cranes can have a second chance, and they can be used to increase the wild population of cranes in the country. We care for them, we examine them, and when the quarantine is finished, we select those cranes that can qualify to go back to the wild. Today we'll be hitting 100 cranes in the wild. When you see them running and some of them flying, it's a huge relief. It's worth the effort, it's worth the hard work. Cranes, they like to flock up, to find food together, fly together. And every time I see them, it reminds me how, like, as human, we need to work in a team. We can't succeed with everything we are doing without working together.
So that's what we've been doing over the last 6 years. And I'm happy to tell you today that we have achieved our goal of not having any cranes in captivity in Rwanda. Most of the cranes have been introduced back to their natural habitat, but unfortunately there are some cranes that had disabilities, injuries, and we've been able to start a sanctuary in the nature reserve in the capital city here in Kigali, the first of its kind, and we've moved those cranes there. So we do not have cranes in captivity anymore. But as the video said, it's not only about animals, it's also about people. Cranes would not be endangered if it was not about people. Other animals would not be endangered if it was not about people. So our organization invests a lot in the community. We've launched like massive campaigns to raise awareness because we've realized these people, they no longer remember that even these species have been lost, they have been disappearing slowly. And we start from young age. We really bring kids together, and our approach is about fun, connect, and impact. So all of these kids, we educate them in a much fun way. We take them out in the nature to connect with nature and inspire them, and much more, they really have a lot of impact. So some of them have been planting a lot of trees, like this little girl, who's proudly one day called us and say, hey, a bird has started nesting in my tree. So we are bringing that kind of sense of pride and ownership, and we want these kids to grow with this kind of pride and ownership so that they can protect these species for future generations. We are also investing a lot in the communities, bringing them on board, starting initiatives that brings them on board. We have a huge program on habitat restoration, and we create this small job, but we also give this community the job of protecting, owning these places, and raising and growing all of those trees. Much more, we have created like a real job. These are paid jobs. These people are on our payroll. We have created more than 100 jobs of these people from the community who might have relied on unsustainable business like poaching or hunting, and some of them young people unemployed, and most of them they are women. We have half of these people are women, and this is really good. We are putting the members of the community at the forefront, and we give them a lot of trainings, a lot of everything they need to stand as our ambassadors in those communities. This is a photo of one woman using her binocular and a bicycle going to monitor cranes. So all of these people in their communities, they monitor cranes. They really send us data using cyber tracker app on smartphones that we give them. So we are able to receive this kind of rich data every day in a real time. Much more importantly, they will work to protect some of the breeding site of cranes and the other species to make sure those species can breed and increase in number. They also work a lot in their community to raise awareness and work with local leaders to make sure species and their habitat are protected. But unfortunately, today I want to tell you about the impact of COVID-19. Like many other organizational people, our organization was also affected. Of course, financially, we had a really huge financial crisis, but also in terms of conservation. Between March and December last year, in 2020, we saw like an increase in the number of cases of poaching of cranes. 19 cases compared to 4 cases in 2019. This was really like a kind of a big alert to us. And the big problem is that we were also under quarantine, under lockdown, and we could not travel. Usually, when we have a case, we take a vehicle, we run, and we try to confiscate the chicks or the crane, and we give them the veterinary care as veterinarians, as you can believe. But we could not travel, and even the time it would take to get clearance to travel was so long. So our only hope was the community members. And these people, they never stopped. Even when I could not travel, they were working hard to protect those places, monitor. And one good news I would like to tell you is that all of these cases that we got in that year, we got to know them even like less than 5 years from when they happened. And that's a success in itself, that we are able to know every single thing that happened. But the other thing I want to tell you is that all of those chicks were successfully reunited with their parents. I want to show you on this photo, I don't know if you can all see it. This is one of our conservation champions on his very, very used boat, taking back 2 chicks that he has confiscated from his village to reunite them with its parents. And this is what I call a true champion, who's not afraid of going over a dangerous river, but who believes that he's doing it for the best cause. And having people like this, it's what gives us success. And so these people, we saw a lot of innovation. Usually they run campaigns, they have meetings, but meetings were not allowed. So they started finding some microphone, going in places like market and delivering the message, telling people, did you know that even though we have COVID around, it's still our responsibility to protect all of those species. So this really made me so emotional and feeling more strong than ever having them. So one of the successful stories I want to tell you is that, when we start this work, we wanted to reverse the decline. And I thought it was a huge mountain to climb. I thought this was not going to be possible. I thought we would not be able to turn things back for the cranes, to turn things around. But I'll tell you, we've been monitoring population of great crown cranes in Rwanda over the last 4 years. And I'm happy to tell you that in 4 years only, we've been able to nearly double the population of great crown cranes in Rwanda. And this is a huge success in a very short time. And we would have not been able to do it without having all of those members of communities on our side. So this approach has been successful, and we are actually using this approach to saving many other species, varying from shoebills, grey crown cranes, sitatunga, African grey parrots, bats, all of those species that are found in our neighborhoods, not only in national parks, but everywhere we live. We are putting communities at the forefront to protecting them, because we believe we are much more stronger when we are working together. And the future is better for all of these species if we can bring the pride, the ownership, to wildlife in those communities. Thank you so much, and I really hope you continue to support us to helping the communities and to putting communities at the forefront of protecting wildlife, and wild places. Thank you.